To the untrained eye, this might look like a normal 2018 Nissan Note. However, this car drives like an electric car, uses fuel like a normal car, and well, it sips fuel like it's on a diet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power, and today we're going to find out whether it is one of the smartest buy you can get for a hatchback of this size. Well, I'm your Joseph Njoroge, and we're going to review the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power. First things first, what is the Nissan Note e-Power? Well, the Nissan Note e-Power uses a hybrid system, but the engine does not power this car. What powers this car? Come, let me show you. Under the hood of the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power, you have a 1.2-liter 3-cylinder petrol engine. However, this engine does not power this car. This car is powered by the electric motors and the inverter that instead are powered by the engine. Basically, you're driving an electric car that has a generator with it. So, the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power uses an engine, but the engine does not power the car. Rather, you are powered by electric motors and inverters. So, you have that instant torque and instant power delivery. Now, we're the interior of the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power, and here we're going to debunk some of the myths and misconceptions that surround this vehicle. But first things first, in terms of the interior, I think Nissan really did a very nice job putting things where there should be. On the first things first, you have a very nice leather steering engraved with black and brown accents around, just to add a sense of futuristic vibe and comfort to this car. And also on the steering, you'll also have something known as a multifunctional steering wheel, meaning you can adjust the volume of the media you're listening to. You can either increase the volume or decrease the volume of the media you're listening to. However, let's talk about the myths and misconceptions that surround this vehicle. Some people might allude that this car comes with a gearbox, and others might say it does not come with a gearbox. Well, let's try to debunk those myths with the best facts possible. So, this car comes with something known as a single-speed gearbox. What is a single-speed gearbox, if you may ask? This is a gearbox that has been tailored to be fixed with one gear ratio, meaning since the vehicle does not rely on the engine to push this vehicle forward, you have a single-speed gearbox. A single-speed gearbox has only one fixed gear ratio. Unlike a CVT gearbox, which has infinite gear ratios, the single-speed gearbox only has one fixed gear ratio. Well, some people may say it's a gearbox, and others may say it's not a gearbox. However, the gearbox has only been put in place to work together with the engine. Unlike a CVT gearbox, where you have infinite gear ratios, the Nissan Note e-Power only has one fixed gear ratio because it does not rely on the engine to move this car forward. On matters to do with the infotainment system, Nissan really put a very minimalistic infotainment system that just gets the job done. On matters to do with your AC, you have buttons, unlike in other cars where maybe you have touchscreen. And I continually say that I'm not a fan of touchscreen AC controls. Well, matters to do with safety, this car achieves a 5-star rating on NCAP safety, and you have things like your blind spot monitor. You also have things like your lane departure, and you also have 360 surround in this car, meaning you can be able to see all the blind spots, especially if you're going to park in tight spaces, especially in Nairobi parking places. Well, I think the Nissan Note is one of the best cars that you can buy, especially if you're considering matters to do with fuel economy, because listen closer, this car can achieve up to 25 to 30 kilometers per liter. You tell me at the comment section which car comes close to such fuel figures. Well, I think Nissan really maintained a futuristic vibe while still maintaining a minimalistic vibe on this car. Well, the 2018 Nissan Note also has a trick up its sleeve. Well, it has something known as the one pedal drive. What is the one pedal drive? It is where if you're going to drive this car and you lift your foot off the accelerator, the car will come to a complete standstill. So let me demonstrate that shortly. So foot off the brake, accelerator. Did you see it? Again, accelerator. That is known as a one pedal drive. Let's hop to the rear and let's see what happens or what kind of space is packed at the rear of the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power. Well, we are at the interior of the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power, the rear side, and I can tell you for a fact that this car has tons of space. Well, if you can see, I have ample legroom, and you can also see I have ample headroom, meaning this car has a lot of space for you to play around, and also the passengers that you're going to carry are going to be very comfortable in this car. Some people might allude that this car is smaller than the Honda Fit, but I am not going to kid you, but this car has ample and tons of space. Well, if you are going to compare to the 2018 Honda Fit. Well, these seats are cloth seats, meaning they're easy to clean and they will not be dirty and they will not make this car look a little bit dirty. Well, no matters to do with the quality of this car, you have very nice plastic materials, but they kind of feel a little bit cheap, but of course, it's a Japanese car. It has to get the job done. Well, on matters of space, I guess the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power really nailed out on the space of this car. Well, I think we can check the trunk and the boot and let's see, does it also have enough space, well, as compared to the front of this car. So let's check the rear of the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power. On matters to do with the boot space, if you're going to get the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power, there's a slightly compromise on the boot space, because if you come and check closely here, at the bottom of your false floor, you have the battery that will instead be on the front of this car if you're going to get the normal Nissan Note, 2018 Nissan Note. But however, since this is a hybrid, the electric inverters and the electric motors take some space on the front, and the batteries are suited underneath this seat, meaning you have some slight compromise on the batteries, but that's not something that should worry you, because you have decent space for 5 people, especially if you're going to take this car for long trips or short hauls within the city. What are the pros and cons of owning a 2018 Nissan Note in Kenya? Well, the pros, you have better fuel economy as compared to some of the hatchbacks in Kenya, because a fuel economy of 25 to 30 kilometers per liter, those are not figures you're going to joke around with. Well, on matters to do with the cons, this car, it comes with some fair share of problems that some people may not like to address. Well, since, like I told you, this car does not rely on the engine for propelling this car. You have the electric motors and the batteries, and if neglected, and underline if neglected, they can be a very big expensive mistake. Well, if you want this car and you want a peace of mind, I guess the 2018 Nissan Note e-Power is a car that you might consider if you value fuel economy and ease of maintenance, because the only things you're going to maintain on this car is maybe the routine maintenance of this car. However, if you neglect this car, repairing the batteries and inverters for this car can be a little bit expensive. Well, if you would like to check out this car, you can follow us on our website, or you can spare service along Kiambu Road, and we'll be glad to show you this vehicle.